Let's jump right in and start with the running backs, where we kick things off with Detroit's Jahmyr Gibbs. But before we get there, we got to hear Jared Goff on getting in on the Sonic nicknames. Take a listen.
Your passing numbers are incredible. The rushing ability. If Jahmyr is Sonic and David is Knuckles, what does that make you? Are you Tails?
I don't know enough about the Sonic world to know who the third character would be. I'll let you decide, Brad. You can come up with somebody.
I also am not familiar with the Sonic universe. Are either of you guys big Sonic guys?
I've seen like one or two with my nephew, but those are the only three names I would know from the show.
Who's Sonic, Knuckles, and what?
And Tails. That's who they asked.
And Tails, they gave him Tails?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on board with Tails.
Yeah, just roll with it. Why
Sure,
not?
why not?
Well, you hated Sonic and Knuckles.
If we're gonna go, I do, and I still do.
It's
I think
it's a strange position for you to take.
I know they're dumb nicknames. They're not. No.
No. Nobody's done that yet with the running back duo. It's cool. It's fitting. It's better than Thunder and Lightning for the 45th
I disagree.
time.
Thunder and Lightning is better. Thunder and Lightning is
1998.
Thunder and Lightning is a better nickname for a running back duo than Sonic and Knuckles.
It's just a strange thing to take issue with. Someone told me once to whenever you look at Jared Goff, just think of sleep-deprived Ryan Gosling. It's just completely ruined the Jared Goff experience for me. I look at him and like, it's sleep-deprived Ryan Gosling.
The other guys, right? The movie with Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling? He looks like that version of.
That's exactly who Jared Goff is all the time.
This is.
Yeah.
I shouldn't bring this up because Steven doesn't have it.
Goff.
I have to, as long as we're talking about Jared Goff random stuff here, and I'm sorry, we'll get to it in a second, but it's the weirdest thing because here in Connecticut, there is a local lawyer, the Goff Law Group, and by all accounts, she seems like a very good lawyer. I mean, from the commercials or whatever. But what do I know? She's a lawyer that advertises
We'll run
on TV.
the data soon and see about that.
I have no idea if she's a good or bad lawyer. She comes across as impressive. I'll just say that on her commercials. But again, she's a lawyer that's advertising on TV.
So that's Saul Goodman.
So there's a certain genre. Of lawyer. But my point is that have you guys seen this driving to work? Because there's all these billboards of her, this woman that runs the Goff Law Group, with Jared Goff, and they have this whole campaign.
Does he know about this?
Yeah, yes, he's in their commercials and stuff, and it's just like, welcome to the family, and there's all these jokes. I don't think they're actually related, but because his last name is Goff, and they're called the Goff Law Group, they do this commercial, and it's just one of these things. It's like in the offseason, he signed like a, quarter of a billion dollar contract, and he's doing ads for like a local lawyer in Connecticut.
What kind of budget do these people have?
Exactly.
That's insanity.
Or how desperate is he for $50,000 or whatever they paid him? The whole thing is bizarre to me, and they've had the campaign the entire year. The entire football season, and of course, because you can't use NFL look, so he's in a T-shirt that says 16. It's a blue T-shirt that says 16. A blue T-shirt that says 16, which is his number, and he's holding a football, and it's just like the whole thing is super bizarre to me. You can just Google it. Google Goff, Goff Law Group, and Jared Goff, and it's there.
A group of lawyers a couple of weeks ago walking into a conference room, being like, "Oh, Goff threw 5 picks against the Texans. We're gonna take a hit.
This deal didn't work for us."
Yeah, we're going down.
It's just
It's
just so weird that Jared Goff would do a local lawyer. Don't you? Right?
Good job by them.
I understand it from in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Like if it was in Detroit, I'd be like, yeah, sure.
No, I mean, I understand it from the law because they're like, we've got the last name Goff, and this guy Jared Goff is an NFL quarterback and having a very good year. But anyway, the whole thing's bizarre to me. I want to talk to Jared Goff's lawyer agent. I want to talk to Jared Goff's agent.
We have some questions about this. Well, we don't have questions about Matthew. Jahmyr Gibbs is on the love list
by the
this
way,
week.
I'll just last thing on this one. I mean, for all my criticism or questioning about it, it works.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very aware of the Goff Law Group.
Publicity you just gave them now.
1,000%
for free.
1,000%. If I need a lawyer in Connecticut, I'm calling the Goff Law Group. 1,000%.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Anyway,
Jahmyr Gibbs is running back. 17% of his rushes this season have gained 10+ yards. The big play threat in year 2, Matthew.
Jahmyr Gibbs is he Sonic or is he Knuckles?
He's Sonic.
He's Sonic.
Because he's the fast one. Come on.
But I don't watch Sonic.
You don't need to. You just need to know the words and the language. What do you think?
English is my second language.
Knuckles is the speedy one?
Maybe. We don't know. Maybe he runs on his knuckles really fast. It's a cartoon. Anything's possible in that world, Jay Croucher. Here's what's possible.
Technically a video game.
Yeah. If we're going to get hung up on semantics like this, Jay, we'll never get through the show.
We'll bring in the Goff Law Group to
I'm going to have them represent me and sue you guys for emotional distress. Look, Jahmyr Gibbs is very good. There you go.
I'm not worried about them outdoors.
We're off the rails. Whatever. I mean, you're starting to. I have Jahmyr Gibbs at running back 6. It's a great matchup against the Colts. Indianapolis allows 151 yards from scrimmage per game to running backs this season. And over the last 4 weeks, they've allowed 14 different running back rushes of 10 or more yards. That's tied for the most in the NFL, right? This is over the last month. Like, they not only do give up a lot of rushing yards, they give up a lot of big play rushing yards. And the reason I bring that up is, again, because Sonic is so explosive. 17% of Gibbs' rushes this year have gained 10 or more yards. That's the highest rate in the NFL.
Another running back in the top 10 this week is Kareem Hunt here, Jay. I mean, this one's pretty simple. Carolina's defense has been a buffet for running backs this year. They give up the most rush yards per game. They give up the most rushing touchdowns this season.
Indeed. The Chiefs they're only 10.5-point favorites in this one, which I really don't understand. I think they should be more heavily favored than they are. I think this is going to be a blowout. The Kareem Hunt train is going to end its time of going quickly. I can't extend that analogy anymore because as Isaiah Pacheco is coming back, but for this week, still expecting Kareem Hunt to eat in what is the most favorable matchup in the NFL.
Pacheco has started to return to practice, so we don't know. This assumes Pacheco is out. I will say that if Pacheco's active, I think you can likely start both guys this week, especially with 6 teams on a bye going against Carolina. They've given up the most rushing yards per game. They've given up the most rushing touchdowns to running backs this season. 7 of the 10 running backs that seen at least 15 touches against the Panthers have scored 17 or more fantasy points. And so I think even if they split this workload, even if Pacheco is active and you tell me Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco each get 12 touches against Carolina, that might be worth, I think they're both flex viable, especially in a week with 6 teams on a bye. I have Hunt currently at running back 9. That assumes Pacheco is not going to play this week. If we get news later in the week that Pacheco will suit up this week, then still very viable against the Carolina Panthers. The line's actually moved to 11, Jay, as well. And I agree with you. I think it should be 2 touchdowns, if not more.
Just think about it like this. The Giants in Munich were 6.5-point favorites over the Panthers. Home field advantage worth about 1.5 points. So that's saying that if the game was in Carolina, that the Panthers would be 5-point dogs against the Giants. You're telling me there's only a 6-point difference between the Kansas City Chiefs and the New York Giants, even with Daniel Jones back then? Like, just makes no sense to me at all.
No.
I thought this line would be 13.5, 14.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt, RB9, not far behind him. Brian Robinson, healthy and ready to roll against the Dallas defense here at RB12 because the Dallas defense over the past 4 weeks has fallen off a cliff. They ranked 29th throughout those weeks in rush defense. Matthew, over 160 rush yards per game.
Washington is a double-digit favorite in this game. Cowboys traveling on the short week. Washington played the Thursday night game last week, so they've had the mini bye to prepare for a home game against Dallas as well. Robinson should be getting a ton of work in a game in which the Commanders should be leading, certainly in the second half. He's had at least 17 touches in 5 of 7 completed games so far this year, and running backs that see at least 17 touches against the Cowboys, averaging over 28 fantasy points per game. I mean, just unbelievable. They've just been bad and just
getting worse.
Maybe they'll get up for the Washington game, but just this is an important game for Washington after 2 losses. 10 days they've had to sort of sit there and stew against their loss to the Eagles. So I think the Commanders take it to them.
I think the issue with the Cowboys getting up for the game is you would have thought they would have gotten up for the Eagles game. You would have thought they wouldn't have gotten up for Monday Night Football against the Texans. I just don't think they can get up for anything, so I just don't think they have the talent level this year.
Some others receiving votes: Aaron Jones, Tyrone Tracy, Bucky Irving, and check out this flashback name, Matthew. Ameer Abdullah sneaks into the top 40 plays with all the injuries the Raiders are dealing with in their backfield.
Over the last month, Broncos allowed the most receiving yards per game to running backs. Abdullah is going to be the passing down back, even if Madison and Zamir White can go, and at the moment it doesn't feel like they'll be able to. So, look, he's running back 40. It's a desperation play, but love-hate is all about expectations, and certainly Ameer Abdullah has higher expectations this week than he normally would. Bucky Irving has a nice matchup here. Giants have allowed at least 24 points to every backfield they've faced over the last 4 weeks. They also give the second most rushing yards to running backs. Bucky Irving continuing to get work here. Him and Rachaad White off the bye. That offense should be good. Same game, Tyrone Tracy on the other side of the ball. Tampa Bay's given up at least 16 fantasy points to a running back in each of their past 5 games with Tommy Cutlets under center. What I would expect Tyrone Tracy to get a healthy workload here. And as good as Chicago has been this year defensively, they've actually struggled against the run. Over the last month, Bears allowed the 6th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. They've even given up 125 yards from scrimmage to opposing running backs. So Aaron Jones, who seems to always play well against Chicago, should have another big game. I'm inside my top 20 this week. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.